Well, I want to start this video off with a welcome to everybody for coming in. This is a dev update in which we're going to dive into the things that they're testing on the PTR to hopefully facilitate discussion and also to help facilitate more player feedback on these two stories. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is the economic changes that are being made regarding gold generation in New World on the PTR, and then I'm going to talk about the reflexive potions as well. So we're going to go over two big posts by the devs. And hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thanks for being back here, you amazing person. It really does mean the world to me, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying the videos and content. But let's not waste time, let's dive in, and then I'll share my thoughts on both of these stories as well. If you want to jump to any specific story, by the way, just use the chapters and you should be off to the races. All right, first things first. In this PTR update, they've added a few economic changes, which will help maintain a healthy balance between coin going in and out of the economy. Now, just as a note from me, if you're just listening to the audio, I do wonder if we'll see a Zoth teleporting, shift to gold teleporting at some point. That seems to be a really good gold sink overall. But anyway, that's just a thought that I have, obviously reading this right away. Now, we've seen significant increase in coin generation from the economy based off of their July and October updates. With many returning players impacting the world economics, we see a need to get a balance of coin generation and a breadth of rewarding activities back to a healthy balance. Specifically, they're reducing the coins earned from lost sacks from 500 to 250 per bag, and they're returning the trade post tax to 5%. Recently, they just reduced that to like 2.5%. So this seems to be pretty much on par. Now, they say this is standard player-driven marketplaces and MMOs is 5%. So we'll take them at their word. You guys can let me know if that 5% feels good or bad. No wrong answers there. Anyway, back to the post. We've removed lost sack coins from elite chests, as the chests are already very rewarding on their own, and now they have chosen to make Darkness Breaches the only source for players to get lost sacks of coins. They've removed them from all chest drop tables. Tuning the economy is going to be an ongoing thing in New World, and they're going to make adjustments as needed to ensure balance for long-term health. Now, on that note, they're also correcting a trend where they've seen supply outpacing demand for Tier 5 iron hide, making it less valuable than other tiers of hides out there due to its excessive ability. We were going to be cutting the quantity per iron hide drop by 50%, and as always, they're going to continue to healthily monitor the economy and will continue to work towards continually improving it to keep it healthy. Now, to summarize what they've changed, reduce the coin that you get from lost sacks from 500 to 250. The lost sacks of coins no longer drop from any chest, and they're now only going to come from Darkness Breaches. They increased trade post tax to 5%, up from 2.5%, and they're reducing Tier 5 high drops by roughly 50%. I think this is overall going to be some really good changes. Like I said at the start of this, I could see them moving teleports to also being a coin-based system. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. That's how I've seen it work in every MMO that uses fast travel and having kind of that tax, that coin tax, always keeping coins somewhat relevant, but also then pulling that out of the game itself seems to be that convenience tax overall. So I'm not personally against it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So I do wonder if we'll see that in the future. This seems like a natural way. I feel like I'm just being rewarded with coins a lot, and I mean a lot. I'm making coins by just playing, which is great. Coins are great because they get you all kinds of things, but obviously that has an impact on inflation one way or the other. I don't see anything necessarily concerning about any of the changes that they've made. I definitely am somebody who is actually sitting on a ton of Ironhide that I picked up very cheaply. Seeing that this is going to have a reduction in that, I might just go buy up some more in terms of speculative marketing casting. Now, I'm not a finance guy. I know I've been getting all kinds of finance YouTube stuff, and recently that's all been kind of crazy and chaos speculation, and maybe we'll create a financial speculation corner here on this channel. Let me know if you want more spicy takes regarding economics and predictions and trends that I see overall. That might be fun. It could be chaos one way or the other. Now, I said, let's jump into the reflexive potions talk. Now, if you guys have not seen, I've seen Jay Oddity post about this. Go follow Jay Oddity if you haven't already. He's talking about testing out the reflexive potions. From everything that I saw that he covered, he just wasn't overall that impressed with it. And actually reading this post, which we'll do, I'm going to jump into that, and then I'll give more of my thoughts. Anyway, reflexive potions are a new item that they're testing on the PTR. These potions self-activate when a player corresponds vitals below 50%. For example, the infused reflexive health potion triggers itself when a player's health is below 50%. For convenience, this behavior is intended to be offset by a longer cooldown, 40 seconds versus 30 seconds, basically normal potions. The inefficiency of them triggering right below 50% is also and their crafting cost. Players are welcome to equip both reflexive and normal potions, though based off the same vital, they will share the same cooldowns and won't stack their effects. So a reflexive health potion and a reflexive or just a health potion, those are going to share the same cooldowns, but in a kind of regeneration potion, that would be something very different. And I can see that actually having an effect. Based off of early feedback they've received about these potions, they are going to continue to evaluate them. We would like to thank the PTR players for the larger community for sharing their thoughts with us on this feature, so continue to provide that. Now, here's where I come in. Personally speaking, it's an interesting concept with a reflexive potion, right? A self-triggering potion. And I'm going to go and pull in another game that I've actually enjoyed that did this well, in my opinion. Final Fantasy Tactics. In Final Fantasy Tactics, there was a perk that you got. There was something that you got and you got to equip that allowed you to auto potion. This obviously has that tax because potions have inventory, and I could see the reflexive potions in a mode that has infinite versions of those actually kind of playing nice. So you're not having to sit here and trying to manage one other thing. I could see you kind of falling short on that additional 10 seconds because in PvP, that 10 seconds is going to be a big thing. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind them dropping it as a type of potion or item specific and maybe making that some kind of perk that you get to turn on and off, right? That's a bigger conversation. That's a bigger feedback change. But at the end of the day, that's just where I've seen it, and I've seen it been something very nice. Now, if they were going to add something like that, and if we're talking about adding that to a weapon or a piece of gear, that could be troublesome. I'm not saying this is a perfect idea, mind you. You could cut in hundreds of holes and flaws into just this idea alone. But outside a specific item that had that specific function, I don't know. It'd be kind of neat to see this as a kind of a perk that you can kind of go chase if that's something that you wanted on your build. Again, bigger conversation regarding how that should go about doing all those things, but that would be where my leaning would end up being. That would be where my opinion ends up being on that, is that, item's kind of neat. If there isn't a high demand for that, then you're going to see prices are really high. If there is a high demand for that and the prices go up, people would turn this into its own economy of things, and that could be very interesting to see. But if they're only very situationally used, I could see more people focusing on just crafting themselves who ended up wanting them. So that's a win-win, loss either way. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of bring that to y'all's attention if you haven't seen what's being tested on the PTR. Like I said, this is the dev post. Trying to keep you guys up to date on all the news and happenings that is going on in New World. I thank you guys for your time. If you've made it all the way to the end, you're a subscriber, sound off in the comments. We're gonna go Soul Nation. That's where we're gonna call this as a team effort. Sound off below. That tells me you've made it to the ends of these videos. It is a really great help. It is so nice that you guys have been enjoying the content, and I look forward to keep rolling with it. It's been a really great journey so far, and I'm very much excited to see how the next couple of weeks play out. I assume, that's kind of my final thought before we wrap up, I assume that this Return to Eternum is either going to end with the roadmap or we're going to see the roadmap next week. We should be getting a dev update. They're going to be talking about the leaderboards, which I've already put lots of feedback in there. And if you want to see a video discussion on leaderboards alone, sound off below. Happy to try to get that together for you this week anyway. All right. I apologize for hopefully I didn't waste any of your time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.